Have you ever found yourself waking up at 3 a.m., staring at the ceiling, wondering why sleep seems to slip away so easily these days? You're not alone, and it's not just a part of getting older. In this video, we'll explore 5 surprising reasons why many older adults find themselves awake in the quiet hours before dawn. From changes in the brain and body to shifts in routine and emotional rhythms, each reason reveals something important about how we age. Understanding these patterns can help you sleep more peacefully and connect more deeply with what your body is truly saying. Section 1. Changes in the aging brain. One of the most overlooked yet powerful reasons older adults wake up around 3 a.m. is rooted in natural changes within the brain. As we age, our brain undergoes gradual shifts that can subtly alter our internal body clock, also known as the circadian rhythm. This internal clock is responsible for telling us when to feel sleepy and when to wake up, syncing with external cues like daylight and darkness. But over time, the brain's sensitivity to these cues can weaken, leading to an earlier sleep onset and subsequently an earlier wake-up time. A key area affected is the suprachiasmatic nucleus, SCN, a small group of cells in the hypothalamus that regulates circadian rhythms. In younger people, this part of the brain is more responsive to light signals, helping them maintain consistent sleep-wake patterns. However, as we age, the SCN's function can diminish, making it harder to stay asleep through the night, even if we fall asleep easily. This is why many older adults report waking up earlier than they used to, often around 3 or 4 a.m., feeling fully awake even though they may not have had a full night's rest. Additionally, the production of melatonin, the hormone that helps regulate sleep, is known to decline with age. Melatonin naturally rises in the evening, signaling the body that it's time to wind down. But when its levels are lower, the body's ability to stay asleep may be compromised, resulting in lighter, more fragmented sleep. This isn't necessarily a sign of something wrong. Rather, it reflects how the brain and body are adjusting over time. Take Harold, for example, a 79-year-old who began waking up around 3 a.m. despite having no history of sleep problems. At first, he was frustrated, assuming something must be wrong. But after speaking with a sleep specialist, he learned that his sleep pattern had simply shifted. The specialist recommended subtle changes, such as increased exposure to natural light in the morning and a regular evening wind-down routine. Within weeks, Harold wasn't necessarily sleeping longer, but he was waking up feeling more rested and less anxious about the early hour. The takeaway? These early wake-ups aren't random. They're your brain adjusting its rhythms in response to aging. By understanding and respecting these changes, you can take steps to support healthier sleep patterns and reduce the stress that often comes from waking in the middle of the night. Section 2. Physical changes and medical factors. Waking up at 3 a.m. can also be traced back to very real physical changes in the body, especially those related to health conditions and medications. As we grow older, the body's systems, circulatory, urinary, digestive, tend to become more sensitive, and this increased sensitivity can interrupt sleep in subtle but persistent ways. One common example is the need to urinate during the night, a condition called nocturia. As people age, bladder capacity can decrease, and hormone levels that help concentrate urine overnight can decline. This combination leads to more frequent nighttime trips to the bathroom, often occurring around the same early morning hours. Even if you fall back asleep quickly, this disruption can shift your sleep cycle and reduce its overall quality. Medications are another major factor. Many older adults take prescriptions for chronic conditions like high blood pressure, arthritis, or heart disease. While these medications help manage important health issues, they often come with side effects that quietly interfere with sleep. Diuretics, for example, increase urine production and are often taken in the morning, but their effects can linger. Other medications may alter body temperature, increase light sensitivity, or interfere with REM sleep, leading to light or fragmented rest. Consider Elelana, a 76-year-old woman who always considered herself a light sleeper. Over the past year, she began waking consistently around 3:30 a.m. At first, she assumed it was simply a part of aging, but after months of poor sleep, she spoke to her doctor, who helped her identify one of her medications as a contributing factor. It was affecting her hydration and leading to frequent urination. With guidance, she adjusted the timing of her dosage and adopted a few new habits, like staying hydrated earlier in the day and avoiding certain beverages at night. The result? She still wakes up occasionally, but now she can fall back asleep more easily and feels more rested overall. The important thing to remember is this: waking up physically doesn't always mean something is wrong. In many cases, it means your body is doing its job, responding to signals, adapting to changes, and trying to maintain balance. When you start seeing these wake-ups not as failures but as information, you gain an opportunity to care for yourself in smarter, more compassionate ways. Sometimes the path to better sleep begins with simply paying attention to your symptoms, your habits, and how your body is trying to communicate. Section 3. Lifestyle habits that shift your sleep rhythm beyond. Biology and medical conditions. Another powerful but often overlooked factor in waking up at 3 a.m. lies in everyday lifestyle habits, those subtle, long-standing routines that gradually shift your internal sleep-wake rhythm over time. As people age, daily routines often change in ways that seem harmless on the surface. Many older adults begin eating dinner earlier, reducing evening activity and winding down sooner in the day. While these adjustments can create a calm and peaceful lifestyle, they also, quietly, tell the body to begin the night earlier. This means the body may also feel ready to wake earlier, sometimes as early as 3 or 4 a.m. One major reason for this shift is the loss of external cues that used to anchor our sleep patterns. Before retirement, you may have had a daily schedule filled with commuting, errands, social activities, or mental stimulation. These regular time markers helped keep your internal clock synchronized. But as those routines fade, the body's circadian rhythm, the natural 24-hour cycle that governs sleep and wakefulness, can drift forward, leading to earlier bedtimes and earlier wake-ups. Environmental changes also play a role. Quieter evenings, lower lighting and fewer distractions can trigger melatonin production sooner than expected. Melatonin is the hormone that helps induce sleep, and when it's released earlier, it can push your whole sleep window forward, even if you weren't planning to go to bed so soon. Food timing is another subtle but important piece of the puzzle. While eating dinner earlier is often healthy, it can sometimes cause blood sugar to dip in the early morning hours. Even if you're not consciously hungry, this drop can be enough to signal the body to wake up. And for those who enjoy an afternoon, a coffee, it's worth noting that caffeine lingers in the body longer with age, possibly affecting sleep quality even when consumed hours before bedtime. Walter, a 74-year-old who recently retired, experienced this firsthand. Without noticing, his routine slowly shifted: dinner at 5 p.m., a nap in the recliner during the news, and bedtime before 9 p.m. Eventually, he found himself wide awake at 3 a.m., unsure why. After reflecting, he made a few small changes: a brisk afternoon walk, reading under brighter lights in the evening, and avoiding naps after dinner. These subtle shifts helped push his sleep schedule later, and he began sleeping more soundly. Your body craves rhythm, By making thoughtful adjustments to your habits, you can gently guide your internal clock back toward a more restorative pattern, one that helps you sleep deeper and wake at times that feel more natural and energizing. Section 4. Emotional and psychological restlessness. Not every 3 a.m. wake-up has a physical cause. Sometimes what pulls us from sleep is not the body, but the mind. As we grow older, life naturally becomes quieter. The rush of work, parenting, and constant responsibilities gives way to slower rhythms. In that stillness, emotional layers that once stayed buried beneath daily busyness can begin to surface. These early morning hours, when everything around you is silent and still, can become fertile ground for thoughts and feelings to rise. You may find yourself wide awake, not because of pain or noise, but because your mind is gently turning over memories, questions, or emotions. It's not the same as anxiety from younger years. This kind of restlessness is softer, more reflective. It feels like a quiet hum rather than a loud alarm, an awareness that something inside wants attention, even if you can't quite name it. For many older adults, this emotional wakefulness often involves looking back. The mind might revisit long past decisions, old relationships, unresolved regrets, or moments of loss. These thoughts don't always feel painful. Sometimes they simply emerge because there's finally enough quiet for them to be heard. And while it might seem like a disruption, it's also an opportunity to listen, to process, and to offer yourself compassion. Loneliness can also play a role in this kind of early waking. As we age, social circles often shrink. Friends may move or pass on, children grow busy with their own lives, and routines change. During the day, you might feel fine, distracted by hobbies, chores, or TV, but in the silence of night, that sense of loneliness can feel more present. It's not necessarily sadness. It may just be a longing for connection, a wish for someone to talk to when the world is dark and still. Gloria, an 80-year-old widow, knows this well. During the day, she gardens, talks with her grandchildren, and watches her favorite shows. But around 3 a.m., she often wakes up and finds her thoughts drifting to her late husband, to words they never said, to moments they shared. At first, she feared something was wrong with her sleep, but eventually she realized it was her heart asking to be heard. She began keeping a journal by her bed and started small rituals, like writing a note to a friend or listening to soft music before sleep. These simple acts helped her feel more grounded, and even when she did wake early, she felt more at peace. These moments of emotional restlessness aren't flaws. They're signs of depth, reflection, and the rich, complex life you've lived. Instead of fighting them, try meeting them with kindness. Often the most meaningful kind of rest doesn't come from silence, but from being truly heard. Section 5. Lifestyle habits that shift your sleep. Rhythm, another often overlooked reason older adults wake up around 3 a.m., lies in the subtle but powerful changes to daily routines. These lifestyle habits, how and when you eat, move, rest, and wind down, can gradually reshape your internal clock, sometimes without you even realizing it. As people age, it's common to start eating dinner earlier, watching less stimulating evening entertainment, and experiencing reduced physical activity during the day. These shifts, while not unhealthy in themselves, can signal to your body that nighttime starts sooner. As a result, your sleep window may begin and end earlier too, leading to those wide-awake moments in the early morning hours. After retirement, this pattern becomes especially common. Without the structure of work, errands, or daily appointments, your body loses the clear external cues that once told it when to be active and when to wind down. Your sleep-wake cycle, also known as your circadian rhythm, begins to drift forward. A quiet evening with low lighting can trigger your brain to release melatonin, your natural sleep hormone, earlier than before, encouraging sleepiness even before 9 p.m., and once you're asleep early, your body simply finishes its rest cycle early, often landing you awake at 3 a.m. Food also plays a surprisingly big role. Eating dinner early, while generally good for digestion, can lead to a dip in blood sugar in the middle of the night. This dip might not feel like hunger, but it can still cause your body to wake up. Likewise, even caffeine consumed in the early afternoon can linger in your system, especially as your metabolism slows with age, making you more likely to wake up at the slightest disturbance. Consider Walter, a 74-year-old who recently retired. Over time, his schedule began to shift. He ate dinner around 5 p.m., often dozed off during the evening news, and was in bed by 8:30. Before long, he noticed he was regularly waking up around 3 a.m., wondering why his sleep felt so off. After reflecting on his routine, Walter made a few adjustments. A short walk in the late afternoon, reading under brighter lights in the evening, and avoiding naps after dinner. These small changes nudged his sleep cycle back to a later, more restful pattern. The takeaway: your body craves rhythm and routine. When those signals become inconsistent, your internal clock can lose its bearings. But the good news is, by noticing these patterns and making gentle, intentional shifts, you can help your body find its rhythm again, resulting in deeper, more satisfying rest and fewer 3 a.m. awakenings. Waking up at 3 a.m. may feel frustrating, but it's not a sign that something is broken. Instead, it's often your body and mind trying to communicate, responding to subtle changes in routine, health, or emotions. Understanding why this happens empowers you to make small, meaningful adjustments that lead to deeper rest and a greater sense of balance. Whether it's rethinking your evening habits, adjusting medications, or simply listening to what your heart is saying in the quiet hours, each step can bring you closer to more restorative sleep. If this video helped you see your sleep differently, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing. Your support helps us continue creating thoughtful content just for you. And if something resonated with you today, share it in the comments. What did you learn, and what might you try changing in your own routine? We'd love to hear your insights. Thanks for watching, and sleep well.